The Great Tribulation, depicted in Daniel chapter 7, the prophecy of the four beasts. I was looking in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of heaven were stirring up the great sea, and four great beasts were coming up from the sea, different from one another. The first was like a lion and had the wings of an eagle. I kept looking until its wings were plucked, and it was lifted up from the ground and made to stand on 2 feet like a man. A human mind was also given to it. And behold, another beast, a second one, resembling a bear. And it was raised up on one side, and 3 ribs were in its mouth between its teeth. And thus they said to it, Arise, devour much meat. After this I kept looking, and behold, another one, like a leopard, which had on its back 4 wings of a bird. The beast also had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. After this I kept looking in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrifying and extremely strong, and it had large iron teeth. It devoured and crushed and trampled down the remainder with its feet. And it was different from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. While I was contemplating the horns, behold, another horn, a little one, came up among them, and 3 of the first horns were pulled out by the roots before it. And behold, this horn possessed eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth uttering great boasts. I kept looking until thrones were set up, and the Ancient of Days took his seat. His vesture was like white snow, and the hair of his head like pure wool. His throne was ablaze with flames. Its wheels were a burning fire. A river of fire was flowing and coming out from before him. Thousands upon thousands were attending him, and myriads upon myriads were standing before him. The court sat, and the books were opened. Then I kept looking because of the sound of the boastful words which the horn was speaking. I kept looking until the beast was slain, and its body was destroyed and given to the burning fire. As for the rest of the beasts, their dominion was taken away, but an extension of life was granted to them for an appointed period of time. I kept looking in the night visions, and behold, with the clouds of heaven one like a son of man was coming, and he came up to the Ancient of Days and was presented before him. And to him was given dominion, glory, and a kingdom, that all peoples, nations, and men of every language might serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which will not pass away, and his kingdom is one which will not be destroyed. That comes from Daniel 7, verses 2 to 14. And what we have here is another prophecy in which the course of events are outlined from the time of the Babylonian captivity up until the time that the kingdom of God is established on the earth. The kingdoms of men will come to an end, and the kingdom of God will be established on earth. You'll notice the 4 beasts in this prophecy. This will correspond with the 4 sections of Nebuchadnezzar's image in the prophecy of Daniel chapter 2. I'll illustrate that for you in a moment. Here then is Daniel 7:16 to 27, and we find an explanation of the prophecy. I approached one of those who were standing by and began asking him the exact meaning of all this. So he told me and made known to me the interpretation of these things. These great beasts, which are 4 in number, are 4 kings who will arise from the earth. But the saints of the highest one will receive the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, for all ages to come. Then I desired to know the exact meaning of the 4th beast, which was different from all the others, exceedingly dreadful, with its teeth of iron and its claws of bronze, and which devoured, crushed, and trampled down the remainder with its feet. And the meaning of the 10 horns that were on its head, and the other horn which came up, and before which 3 of them fell, namely, that horn which had eyes, and a mouth uttering great boasts, and which was larger in appearance than its associates. I kept looking, and that horn was waging war with the saints and overpowering them until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was passed in favor of the saints of the Highest One. And the time arrived when the saints took possession of the kingdom. Thus he said, the 4th beast will be a 4th kingdom on the earth, which will be different from all the other kingdoms, and will devour the whole earth, and tread it down, and crush it. As for the 10 horns, out of this kingdom 10 kings will arise, and another will arise after them. And he will be different from the previous ones, and will subdue 3 kings. He will speak out against the Most High, and wear down the saints of the Highest One. And he will intend to make alterations in times and in law, and they will be given into his hand for a time, times, and half a time. But the court will sit for judgment, and his dominion will be taken away, annihilated, and destroyed forever. Then the sovereignty, the dominion, and the greatness of all the kingdoms under the whole heaven will be given to the people of the saints of the Highest One. His kingdom will be an everlasting kingdom, and all the dominions will serve and obey him. Here is an illustration of the 4 beasts and the empires which they represent. You have the Babylonian Empire, represented by the lion with the wings of an eagle. You have the Medo-Persian Empire, represented by the bear with 3 ribs in his mouth. You have the Greek Empire, represented by the leopard there, with 4 heads. And then you have the Roman Empire, represented by this terrible beast here. And these 4 beasts correspond with the 4 sections of the image in Daniel 2. And the 10 toes in Daniel 2 correspond with these 10 horns on the beast here in Daniel 7, the Roman Empire. But in Daniel 7, we're given more detail about what occurs in the Roman Empire, the final form of this Roman Empire in existence at the time of the Great Tribulation. Daniel 7 gives us more detail than Daniel 2. And I've represented this with the T-Rex here, this terrible beast. And you see the 10 horns on his head. The Roman Empire never, this has never been fulfilled. The Roman Empire never sprouted these 10 horns. So at this point right here, this all remains to be fulfilled. The 10 horns sprouting from the Roman Empire, and then a little horn comes up and subdues 3 of the kings. That there is the Antichrist. That horn there that has subdued the 3 kings. That there is the Antichrist of Bible prophecy. And this is the form that the Roman Empire will be in during the Great Tribulation period. And here's an illustration I've created that'll show you Daniel 2 and Daniel 7 sort of side by side. You see the head lines up there with the lion, the chest lining up with the bear, the thighs lining up with the leopard, and the legs lining up with the terrible beast. And then the feet. The Great Tribulation period is characterized also by the beast with the horns. That period will be followed by the return of the Lord and the establishing of the kingdom of God on earth. So there's the Great Tribulation in Daniel chapter 7. I hope you found this helpful. I'll see you next time.